could you tell me the origins of Humpty's Dumplings?
Yeah. There's two stories that we tell. I'll tell you the real one. It's actually very simple. I was in school, about to graduate, college that is. About to graduate. My best friend at the time was kind of between programs in school. He was becoming a pilot. I was graduating to go into PT school. And we were just straight up stoners. We were stuck at home. Spring break, my senior year, 2013. That's what it was. And we wanted to do something in the culinary world for some time. I guess we kind of figured out our next moves. Certainly not to be in food for the rest of our lives. It was kind of a stopgap, a gap year, just to do something we enjoyed doing. We liked to cook. So we were stoned and we went into his mom's fridge and we found like a rotisserie chicken and some other shit and threw it together and made a dumpling. We were like, alright, it's pretty good. We can put anything we want in this. And that's when we started getting like really, book full of flavor ideas and things that we were working on, and in the early stages it was just let's create flavors that we can very easily distribute. So a dumpling wasn't necessarily a good idea, but we wanted to package the flavors up and sell them. So we bought like big pieces of equipment to take a lot of the manual work out of this. One of them is that planetary mixer over there. We used to mix all this filling by hand.
Oh my gosh.
Like the cheesesteak especially. You cook the steak and then you mix the cheese in by hand. It was the best workout I ever got.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Jeez.
I was like, I didn't have to go to the gym. I was looking pretty good. And then we bought all this machinery and I just started to get fat. And out of shape. When we started, we were making them by hand. My aunt was helping me, and a couple like friends of friends who were post-college but didn't really have their shit figured out yet. So it was just a bunch of maniacs. Everyone was a stoner. No one wanted to work that fast, and I understand, but we needed to pump them out. So we kept trying to create like incentives for how to get people to go faster, paying by the piece or whatever it was. Like we experimented with things. And the most we were ever able to do by hand per hour with 5 people was like 400, maybe 420 dumplings, which was enough for the farmers markets and the restaurant when it first opened, without question. We were producing excess because we were trying to do like a food truck and other extraneous things. It wasn't until we started doing the festival circuit where our truck was going to Bonnaroo and Electric Forest and stuff like that, that we really needed to figure out a way to make more of them. The order for Bonnaroo was 40,000 dumplings. Yeah, and we were super thrilled, but I had no idea how we were going to do it. And we did it all by hand. I think it took us 10 weeks. It was insane. Yeah. So it took us a long time, but it also got us the money we needed to at least consider a piece of custom equipment. And it also proved to us that there was a demand for the product in quantities like that. So we got a machine in 2017, and I think that really changed it. It made the job a little bit more insular. There weren't now 12 people in and out all day forming them. Like that social aspect of it was pretty much gone, which I do miss. I wish we had recorded a lot of the bullshit that went on. It was really fun. Yeah. It was a good time. And now it's just much more industrial. This is a machine. We make a dumpling. Oh. All that, but I can still accomplish all this with 3 sets of hands. now, whereas when we started, we might have been doing, 300,000 dumplings a year, maybe. We can do, I can do 10 million right now.
How many of these do you plan to make?
Just maybe 2,000 today.
Okay.
At least it's nice out. This is pretty good. All right.
Do you see yourself selling this ever? Should the time come?
That was why we started the company. But I think like with anything, we put so much time into this. It's not uncommon for us to do 75 hours a week. And that's with some decent help. We're just everywhere. We're doing too much. I would have to receive an insane amount of money to part with it. Because there's not only the time that I spend, but it's also just like the emotional toll. I guess we'll go over the components first, and then we'll turn each towing vehicle around, back up to the tongues, and hitch. But just so we're all straight on terminology, this may not be what they're actually called. All right, crank. We call this the lock, but this is also a lock. This is the tongue. This is what connects to the ball on the back of the towing vehicle. And then these chains are they're your insurance policy. If this breaks off, at least the trailer is still attached to the vehicle and you don't get a runaway. But, you go with this crank, you go clockwise, and it lifts up, and you go counterclockwise, and it goes down. Well, it's like, I think, and I don't have children, but I imagine it's like having a business of this size while not being equipped for it. I never had a job for this. Like I parked cars in college, and I had a painting company. Like I painted homes, but I never worked on something this big. And it's definitely at times been overwhelming. And I think it's like having children in some ways. I mean, I can't speak to that exactly, but like you have all these emotions going. Like you love this company, but it also pisses you off, and it takes your money, and like it just acts up sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's me not being the most effective manager I can be. I know I can manage better, but I'm also exhausted. So I'm trying to figure out how to make things a little bit easier on myself. Hiring good people is the first step. So that's really my goal this spring, is to find help and people who will really stick around. It's just become our instructional video.
Yeah. Show this to new employees.
Yeah. So it'll give you a line. Get a little bit closer. See the bumper?